Hi guys, welcome to session 3 of the Moses series. I hope you've been enjoying them and learning a little bit more about who he was and what God did in his life. Just a quick one today, and I've got a little challenge for you at the end, so I'll listen up for that. Okay, so we're moving on with the story of Moses. So we looked at his birth and him making the mistake, and now we see what God wants to do with him later on in his life. So God created you to make a difference. God can take your gifts and your talents, your money, your hobbies and your situation and do something incredible with it. And like I said last week, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing God's goodness through this situation that we are in at the moment, and how God is working in people's lives. Just yesterday we got a delivery of some goodies from people at church, and we're just really feeling the love of how people are thinking about other people and blessing them during this time. So all you have to do is be willing to listen to God and to do what he asks for you. So we're just going to have a look at Moses when God asked him to do something and see what his response was. This is Exodus 3 verses 1 and to 11. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. So I don't know if you remember from like Sunday school listening to this story, the burning bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites and Jebusites, oh my life. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way of the Egyptians, how they are oppressing them. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? So Moses questioned himself, and he was not particularly happy with the mission that God had sent him, because he felt so incredibly insecure about who he was and what he had done in the past, and the fact that God had chose to use him. When God told Moses that he had a job for him, Moses listed all of the reasons and made all the excuses why he couldn't do it. And maybe we've done the same thing. I know that I definitely sometimes hear God's voice saying to me, maybe talk to that person, encourage that person, and I try to come up with every excuse why I shouldn't talk to them, because it's difficult to go and talk to people that you maybe don't talk to normally. But it's great when we do listen to God, and what he does with that is incredible. And so my challenge for you this week is that I would love to hear from you on the WhatsApp group. So every week I message this video to your parents. So if you could message back on that, or they could send me your numbers and I could start a little youth group, that would be amazing. But I would love to hear of you, number one, praying for what God wants to do with you in this time. Number two, if you've had any answers for that prayer. Or number three, if you've just done something that you feel like you've done it with God's love. And what have you done? It might be something for your family, it might be praying for somebody else, it might be a word of encouragement for somebody, but I would absolutely love to hear from you and this week and how that's going. So I'll remind your parents of that when I message them. So that's your little challenge for this week. Pray about it, do something for God, tell me what you've done. And I'm just going to read from 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31. It says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. So just know that the things that you are doing are for God. And when you have that perspective on your life, everything changes. So I hope that's really encouraging for you. And I would absolutely love to hear from you this week. And we've done 7 weeks of lockdown. It's mental. We miss you so much and we cannot wait to be back in youth group as normal. So have a great week. Lots of love.